Good morning, Night City! Yesterday's body count lottery rounded out to a solid and sturdy 30. 10 out of Haywood, thanks to unabated gang wars. One officer down, so I guess you're all screwed, cause the NCPD will not let that go. Got another blackout in Santo Domingo. Netrunners are at it again, poking holes in the power grid. While over in Westbrook, trauma teams scraping cyber psycho victims off the pavement. And in Pacifica, well, Pacifica is still Pacifica. This has been your man, Stan. Join me for another day in our city of dreams.
Okay. This is the beginner guide, or how to get into, or basically my introduction to Cyberpunk 2077. I've been playing since launch. It is update, or patch 1.06. It is in the most playable state it has been since, well, launch. This is the main menu. What you saw before is what you'll see beforehand. You'll see that you can press circle or B, depending on what console you're playing on. Obviously, this is the console's guide, because, well, PC... you have mods. It makes things a lot more easier for you guys, but we'll get into a lot of other things that will work for all platforms. First thing I suggest is if you have your audio going through the TV, mute your TV when you boot the game up. If you have headphones on, keep them plugged in, but just don't wear them. As you hear, the music for the main menu is kind of building up. It is pretty loud. Not right now for me, because I've actually had mine turned down, but at base, it's at all the volume stats at 100, so you might want to just turn it down to 40 or 50 and work your way from there, because as you'll hear, it kind of kicks up and gets really, really loud. I'll let you listen to this for a little bit so you can kind of get what I mean. Okay, so it does get pretty loud. If you plan on sharing videos and stuff like what I'm doing, you can have the copyrighted music disabled if you want, but in my honest opinion, if you're not making YouTube videos or anything, just keep this turned off. And yeah, we'll get into it. Just know that when you create a new character, this is where you'll be brought to. You just select your difficulty, whatever, and you pick your life path. You have the Corpo, Street Kid, and Nomad. They all have different prologues or introductions to the game. After that, it all plays the same. And so your choice of life path will dictate your character's knowledge of the world in the game and how they react or what they can say to other other NPCs. So we'll just go with Street Kid for right now, just as a default. Obviously, I'm not going to censor anything because I'm just going to be doing it off the PlayStation. So you basically just pick your character, or your better yet, body type. Not really. You'll have a voice tone, so either masculine or feminine.
V.
I'm V.
And you have the skin tone. Everything that you can change will be like an L1 or an arrow and whatnot. But things that have different typings, like skin tone or hair color and whatnot, you'll see this. You can just select this, and then select the skin color or whatever that you want. And then you'll see it. The hair color doesn't really have any much natural looking hair colors. It's just so it could be better. Then you have your eyes, and obviously eye color and all that. I'm not gonna focus too much on character creation, but you have all that. And we're gonna just skip down to, well, where everything gets interesting. For certain characters or NPCs, they are romanceable, like Judy, Oliveras, and Panam. They are important characters. Judy will only be romanceable if you are playing as a female character, so someone who has a female body type, maybe, also a female voice, and then also genitals. So, yeah, you can customize your genitals. I don't know if having the genitals turned off will have any effect on your romance options, but yeah, we're gonna continue onward just like this, and we're gonna get into the more important part, is the builds for your character. When you first create a character, you have 7 points. All the stats start off as 3. So this is where you want to be careful with what you do, because you don't have a reset for attributes. You have a reset token you can buy for your perk points for 100,000 eddies or Eurodollars at a Ripper Dock. But you don't have that for your attributes. So what you have to do is limit, or not limit, but know what you want to build for. So look through all the stats and look at what they give you in return. Body will be your health. I would recommend you getting this up to at least 5 first, because you will then have 6 perk points you can invest into your body to get plus 30% health and plus 30% stamina, which will help out a lot. And then from there, technical ability, you want to get up at least to 18, because that is what you're going to be using for crafting, and that comes in handy a lot, and is technically needed because you get iconic weapons at rarity. So if you want to upgrade them to legendary to keep using them in the later game, then you want to have this upgraded to technical ability level 18. Reflexes will be for your mantis blades, your crit chance, and your passive evasion, as well as with technical ability that will also increase your armor by 5% per level, so that will also help out with your armor as well. Cool is for crit damage, increased resistance, increased stealth damage, reduce the speed at which enemies will detect you, as well as increases monowire damage. So cool is for monowire, reflexes are for mantis blades, and then body is for your normal punching as well as the gorilla arms. Obviously body will also give you health points and stamina points, as well as increased damage with your melee weapons. Decreases the movement penalty while grabbing and holding a heavy machine gun, or just a heavy weapon in general. Increased movement speed while grappling an enemy, and the increased grapple duration as well. Intelligence is more for your RAM, your cyber deck, your whole quick hacking stuff for being a hacker. It'll increase your cyber deck RAM by 4% for capacity per level, as well as increasing the quick hack damage by 0.5% and increased quick hack duration by 1%. And I think that's about it for all these. But you also, like I said, you want to invest in what you want to carefully. So we're gonna back out, and we're gonna go to not one of my previous saves, but one of my actual current games that I'm actually playing. So we're gonna go and load up a game, and I'm going to kind of show you some things and show you what my current build is and everything like that. Obviously I sound a little out of breath, or I'm sounding a little weird. It could be because either of my new headsets. Now, in the loading screens, you'll have a loading screen that will recap just general stuff. Sometimes it will also recap the most currently impacting event that happened in the game. And just like with the introduction video, you will see press circle or press B to continue. That will happen at the beginning with the introduction. You can skip that, but if you want to watch it, you can watch it. But you'll notice it'll tell you press circle or B on the consoles when the loading is done. I don't know what the button is for PC, I think. But yeah, once we're done loading here, which we are, you'll be in the game, like, obviously. So there's not much going on. The game still has its problems. It still has problems with the rendering and all that. The NPCs are, well, far from anything spectacular. This is my character. Oops, wrong button. This is my character. And you'll notice I got some alright looking armor. I've got a common, which doesn't have an armor mod, as well as uncommon boots and an uncommon top, no hat as well. I don't really like the hats as well as I don't like the headgear in general, like the glasses. But the glasses that I'm wearing do look pretty nice, at least for the look I'm going. This you actually get from crafting. If we just go over here, so you have your crafting, and there are certain things you unlock based off of your crafting level. So we go back to what I was talking about with characters. This is what my stats look like right now. So we go here, and each thing has its own level base. So you have your attribute, which will be 18 for me. My attribute is level 18, but your actual level for such a thing like crafting or engineering, it'll be down here, and it'll tell you how much you have left. And basically that's a skill, and it's basically capped at whatever you have as your attribute. So if you want level 20 crafting, you'd have to have level 20 technical ability. So this is the max level I can get for right now, and by doing this I unlock crafting specs for iconic weapons and clothing, aka what you saw before, which would be this and this and this and this, I think. Maybe even this, and some weapons, like they say legendary or iconic weapons and schematics or whatever, but they're not iconic. Well, iconic items would be this, the O5, as well as the Widowmaker and the Divided We Stand and Apparition. You'll get these schematics when you get the weapon. You'll get the weapon as a rare, which will then give you this schematic for the epic version. Then once you get the epic version, you'll unlock the legendary version schematic, but as you'll see, you will have to have the crafting components. Now, aside from crafting, there's also upgrading, which is a completely different menu, and you can upgrade your gear, whether it be armor or weapons, and again, it'll cost you dearly. There are ways to make this easier, just like with your inventory when it comes to looks. So obviously you're going to be mix matching armor pieces, not based off of rarity or what they look like, but based off of how much armor they provide you to, you know, beef up your armor so you can survive. But what you really need is just at least one piece of under armor, because this will be the under and this will be the over armor. So you need at least one piece of legendary under armor that will be at its best, which is like this, that will have 4 mod slots, because the mod slots are random as to what you'll get. You could get no mod slots on a legendary piece, or you can get 1 or 3, but you really want to go for 4. Once you have 4, just throw on the armadillo mods, and then get something like a pair of glasses, or something that you like if we were to throw on like this. You'd kind of see it somewhat, but you wouldn't really see it that much. But yeah, you just throw on that, and you make sure that these are the heaviest armor statted weapon items you have on you for armor, and that will beef up your armor, so you can, wear these. That will go over. This will go over the under armor. Then these will be your pants and your whatnot. The special will be like outfits, so they will basically cover up all this. So if you really wanted, you could just have ugly looking armor that will give you a lot of armor, and then just throw on a special outfit. But you really want to look nice, just, worry about the ones that are really important that you can cover up, and then throw on an outfit. There are weapons that require you to have certain stats, like reflexes will be what you use your ARs or your assault rifles and your handguns for, as well as your melee weapons like blades or the mantis blades. body will be what you use for your athletics. These are the ones you want to invest for your health and for your stamina, which will be locked at, like I said, level 5 for your body. Annihilation is for like your shotguns, and Street Baller is for your melee, for your punches. Then you have your stealth, and yeah, for your stealth, you really want to just get these two, because increasing damage dealt by silenced weapons by 25% while sneaking, and then increased movement speed while sneaking by 20% just basically means you could take a pistol and put a suppressor on it. Now, the best suppressor you can get is obviously a blue one, but that will give you 2.5 times multiplier when attacking from stealth, but it will reduce your damage by 15%. So even with like an uncommon one, or a common or an uncommon one, you'll basically be able to ignore that whole damage reduction. With this one, you just not only ignore that damage reduction, but you add on an extra like 10% for your damage, or extra 5% or whatever. Obviously, you will have some weapons that will, like I said, will be iconic, like these ones that I have. This one's not an iconic, it's a legendary. But you'll have iconic weapons like this, or armor pieces that will be tied to a quest. You will know that it's tied to a quest by the exclamation point above, where it will be telling you if your damage is better or worse from the weapon that you have selected already. Alright, aside from that, you have your grenades and your health, as well as your stats, your cyberware, your backpack, and all that. So we're gonna go to the cyber deck, which is basically where you can take a look at your operating system, which will have your quick hacks, but you won't always have that depending on what you want to go for cyberware wise. This is what I look like cyberware wise. I normally like to go with the Mantis Blades, but Lynx Paws just basically makes that so it's easier to stealth. Then you also have your little system over here for your armor, so you can throw this on for extra armor as well. And then you also have 2 more slots for immunity or whatever. Like there's one that will give you, instead of taking damage from being burned, you'll heal or whatever instead. But you also have perks inside of your attributes, like cool. I think it's Cold-Blooded that has it. Right. I gotta find it. I think it's one of these level things where you just gotta invest 1 point. It's either I can't remember which one it is. Right here. So you have stealth for level 11. You can basically get immunity to poison, or you can buy it from a Ripper Doc, but I think you have to have a specific cool level or whatever to be able to, or cool or body level for that. I think that's for intelligence. In the quick hacking, no, it's somewhere around here. I think, yeah, right here in the engineering for technical ability. In engineering, there's right here, I can't remember exactly what level you have to be for this, but it will grant immunity to shock, which basically just now makes this cyberware I have pointless, because it's, so you can go 2 ways of getting immunity from certain stats. Alright, so this one you can kind of hover over, but it's something I'm leading on to the idea that it's possibly for DLC. So we might get a 6th stat, who knows. The max level for both street cred and your current character level is level 50, so you have about 50 levels worth of attribute points to decide as to what kind of ability you want to go for your stats. You'll be able to see in your stats section where you are progress-wise in your street cred and your current levels. Down just like with your skill section for your attributes, you have one for the street cred, which will tell you as to what you'll get per certain increment of levels, because you get things as you level up your street cred. Alright, and then you also have your journal tab, which will give you your missions, your side missions, and your gigs, as well as rides. Rides are basically missions you don't do. It's just something where you can buy a car. Buying a car will basically be as simple as, if we zoom out, going to a certain section of the map, because in certain sections of the maps there are designated fixers for that area. So if we were to take a look at the fixers on the map, actually, let's see, I think it's under service. No, that would be open world. So we have a fixer here, we have a fixer here, and then we have a fixer here, here, not one down here, but one right over here, and so on. It's basically every single time you come into one of these regions, you will get a phone call from a fixer. They will basically be letting you know to get a hold of them if you want a job or whatever else. And they will then also send you messages on your phone for rides that you might want, aka cars for sale. They'll give you these messages over time depending on how often you're in their area. And one of the better ones to get right out the gate that's cheap is from Dakota Smith, which is the Gecko, which is the first car she will get a hold of you to get a hold of you to try and sell you. It's around roughly, I think, 17,000. I think it's one of the cheaper cars. So just head out to this area, just anywhere out in the Badlands, and she will get a hold of you, and eventually she will sell this car. I will actually call the car to just show it off real quick. And there are also some cars you can get for free, like this one you can get for free for doing the Beat the Brat mission. This one is also something you can earn from just doing story progress. This is a car you can buy, but there's another version of the car you can get for free. Then you have this car, which is your starting car, which you have taken away from you for a certain period of time until it's fixed. Then you have this, which is also a vehicle you can get for free. It's also part of a side quest area, which will be what you need to get, first of all, in order to deal with not having your current car. So when Jackie dies, because it's gonna happen, when he does die, make sure you send his body to his family. From there on, his mom will get a hold of you, and you call her, and you just go through that whole thing, and you can basically speed away your own progress of getting your new replacement vehicle. And yeah, those are like only the only free vehicles I have currently right now. But as we get out of here, you can call your car, it'll come to you. It will also sometimes hit you if you're not careful. Cars like this, that will look like this, are known as bulletproof cars. I'm gonna also say that all the cars have a stash. You can open up the trunk, as well as I can re-get onto it. Alright, and you can also open up the hood. Maybe not the hood for this car, but you can normally open up the hood if it has a hood. It has a stash. All the cars' stashes are linked, so you don't have to worry about throwing a weapon in your car stash and then having to find out what car you have it in. As you will see with snipers, to get the full potential out of them, you need a body of 6. But that doesn't mean that you still can't equip them. Alright, so let's get back in the car. Not back, but let's get in the car. And I will show you what the bulletproof cars look like on the inside. So we're going to go into first person. We're going to leave the car so you can see what it looks like when you actually get in the car, because that's actually the cool part. Alright, so I like this car, and I feel like this is the car you want to spend your money to get, because it's basically an off-road car meant for the Badlands. It's a bulletproof car, so it looks cool to have. And also, because of its size and the shape, you can actually see pretty well just out the front side of the car, like the windshield. With most of the other cars, you kind of find it, at least in my opinion, I find it a little bit more difficult, unless it's a motorcycle, to see where I'm going in first person. But with this car, I actually kind of can see where I'm going pretty well. Obviously, you're going to want to test drive a lot of the vehicles and get used to the way the cars drive, because the way they drive is a bit weird. And as you also notice, the minimap isn't zoomed out, so you want to be fully aware of where you're going, when you need to turn, and be careful as to how fast you're going. So aside from that, out of the first person, and we're gonna actually take a trip over to a Ripper dock. I will actually take a trip over to the first Ripper dock you go to, which will be Vic. We'll actually take a stop there, but first we're gonna go to the house. So just give me a moment and I will cut to when I'm back at the house, or not the house, the apartment. Okay, so now that we're back at the apartment, because you do have a fast travel point just outside your apartment, but you also have an elevator that's not that far away. This will be the elevator that will lead up from the garage, so you can basically go to the garage and then come up here and go to your apartment. But before going in the apartment, there is this little section right over here, around the corner. It'll be right over here, this not fishbowl, but this little bowl. There's going to be a note over here, which will lead you to a quest, a secret quest that won't have any waypoints or anything like that, so you will need to look it up. But it's a quest to getting a cat for your apartment, a cat named Nibbles. So we're going to go inside the apartment. And also, these will be tarot cards you can collect. You need to collect a certain amount of them to also get another thing for your apartment, which I will show. So for the tarot cards, collecting the certain amount will actually get you that little dream catcher, which will just sit there. There's also a thing that you can get for redeeming a code or whatever, not a code, but just connecting your accounts with GOG.com, which will then get you this little plushie for your couch, which they might not have thought through properly, because the cat was spawned there at the couch in that same spot, so they'll be inside each other in a weird way. Also in your apartment, you also have this right here. This, when you start up and you're in your apartment for the first time, you'll have clothes you can collect, which will be there. But if you connect or link up your GOG.com account with your PlayStation account or whatever, you will also have clothes that will be in your stash, as well as a weapon. So in your stash, you will have certain weapons that will be displayed here. There's about 18 in total. So you have Jackie's handgun, as well as Dex's handgun, or Dex or Deshawn's. You will also have a katana that you can get at a certain point in the game, early in the game, and then something else. So we're gonna actually just drop some stuff off, like the 05 and the Overwatch, and basically just everything else, because I actually don't use any of this stuff, so we'll just drop all this stuff here. Nope. Alright. Wait, what? Where the hell did I get this from? I have no idea where I got the stinger from, but, yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out if it's iconic enough and will fit in the slot. So the one you get from Panam, her Panam sniper, I believe that's one that will go there. Alright. So we're not gonna really worry about that too much. So I did mention the cat. The cat's in here somewhere. I gotta find the cat real quick. Nope. Cat's nearby. We need the cat's litter box as well. Oh. There's the cat. Cat seems... No, okay, never mind. I thought he broke his leg. He's just chilling in the bathroom. You also have this. You can just open up your window. Take a look. Oh, look at that. That's so nice. I wonder when we'll get there. Oh, man. Oh, we can get there at some point. We're not gonna worry about that. You can also take a seat and sit down on the couch. And if we have the radio on, we can listen to the radio while we just chill and relax. Or we can watch TV. But we're gonna turn that off and get up. And we're actually gonna go to our first Ripper Doc. aka Victor Vector. So I'm gonna take you from the apartment down to the Ripper Doc. Now, the Beat the Brat missions you get when you talk to this guy over here. Well, where'd he go? Oh yeah, I'm in the final mission. He'll be right around here. He'll be boxing this dummy, then he'll take a seat here and he'll be a melee weapon vendor. I have the final part of that quest, or side quest to do, so he's there for the time being. You will also have this guy who will give you technically your technical speaking signature weapon. He'll also be a normal vendor as well, which will sell a whole bunch of stuff. If you're loaded on money, I recommend you buying the crafting components, because if you're doing the crafting, it's going to make your life a little bit more easier if you just buy them, as well as ammo and whatnot, as well as these. These will come in handy a lot, not specifically for use, but for crafting wise. I will get into that a little later, once we take a trip down to the Ripper Dock. Because I want to take things a little slowly, but trying to make it not too long. And obviously I apologize for my weird way of speaking and the monotone sound in my voice. Like I said, it is late. I'm trying not to wake anyone up or be annoying. Okay. Now, obviously, I could call from my car, but it's not that far away from your apartment, so it doesn't matter. Even though you drive there when you first go there. Okay. I have no idea why I thought I saw what I thought I saw. Oh. Can't even... Okay. There's also a cat you'll see here, but I think the cat that was here is actually Nibbles, or Mr. Nibbles. So, yeah. I think that's where Mr. Nibbles came from. But this is Victor Vector. I have no idea why he's here and not at the final part for the Beat the Brat mission, because he's a part of that questline as well, or at least in that part. And whatever, we'll talk to him. We'll get to the Ripper Doc's part. So the Ripper Doc will be your body modification system, so you'll be able to get your operating systems or your Sandavestin or Berserk thing. Yeah, as well as other body modifications for things like increased carrying capacity, increased health, or increased stamina cost for melee attacks, but increasing the damage as well. The hand for a smart link, and the ballistic copper processor. This right here will be used for your ballistic weapons like shotguns and stuff that will be able to do ricochets, whereas the smart link will be for your smart weapons that will be able to target enemies through walls and go around the wall and so on and so forth. Then you'll have these, which in order to unlock these, it's going to first cost you 15,000 eddies, as well as being a street cred of level 20. The for the legendary versions, you're gonna end up being or having to be recommended street cred of level 45, and they will cost you around roughly 100,000 euro at dollars or eddies. But the mantis blades that I have on, as well as this mono wire, you can get for free, so you can get them for free and basically right at the start of the game almost. Mantis blades, not exactly, but the mono wire, yes. I will first back out so I can show you the location of them. The mono wire can be found in the Watson area, which you'll be locked in until you complete the first act of the game. You'll be able to find the mono wire, I believe it's around here-ish, I think. Yeah, it's about around here. Or, no, actually, I think it's here, actually. My bad. Because it's around here. I will just say it's around here, actually. But the mantis blades are actually easier to find. It's right here, because I haven't actually completed the cyber cycle. And, yeah. The cyber cycle at the very beginning of the game will be very, or not very, it'll just be very high. There's also a mission you can get right around here-ish, in this general area, where you can talk to some bums to get a quest line that will then reward you with this item right here. If we go to the miscellaneous, it is the Untitled 18 Brancesi 2021 painting, which I've duped about over 1,000 times. As you can see, it will sell for 4,000 eddies, and there's an exploit which will allow you to basically become rich while having this item. Not just from having it, but from selling it and then buying it back, because you can sell it for 4,000 then buy back for 5 in a certain way, but I'm not going to cover that exactly. So we're going to go back here, and we're actually going to go to our Ripper dock again.
Have a look.
So we have the Crochet optics, which you'll be able to get from him. The one that I have now is the current highest one that exists as far as the current state of the game. Then you also have these. It's basically you just gotta look at what you want. All Ripper docks don't have the same inventory. They all specifically cater to certain needs in certain areas of your body, whether it's the immune system, the optics, or whatever else. As you can see, Victor does not have anything for the immune system. You can get a Kresnokov, this one that I have right now, I have it. You can get this for free without having to buy it or look for it in a Ripper dock. I have a specific location I've found it for, but as you can see, I can't equip it because I need a reflexes of 12, and my current reflexes, I believe, is at 10. And as a heads up, you cannot stack armor modifications, so you can't stack the subdermal armor with, say, another subdermal armor. It just replaces it, as you can see. So you gotta stack it with ones that give you immunity or other benefits. The most common leg modification you'll be using will be the reinforced tendons, which will give you a double jump. But then you'll also be able to get fortified ankles if you want, which will allow you to hover as well. And then there's also something else that will allow you to do a dodge in midair. So that will be able to allow you to fly technically, but I normally like the Lynx Paws for the sake of stealth, even though I suck at it, but still. Aside from all that, the Ripper docks will also have a trade thing that you can go to buy things for your modifications and whatnot. Again, each one has their own unique things, so you want to explore it and find out which ones have the ones you want to look for, or not look for, but get. So we're gonna take ourselves out of that alleyway, and we are going to I think there's something else. Shards. shards are like collectible information things, so you don't have to worry about that too much, but you'll be able to see them all over the map, not all over the map, all over the game. You'll collect them and whatnot, maybe. These are the tarot cards, which you can look at later on when you have collected them and whatnot. A little something to read and look at and whatnot, and I'm saying that repeatedly. There are 2 that you can get, but they're basically in the final mission, which is a point of no return, so therefore anything you do in that final mission is pointless, because it will not be saved. So yeah, there's that. Then you also have the database, which will just give you information, but I haven't ever, clicked on this before, so as you can see, that's kind of new to me. Which, these are the fixers, actually. So, there's Regina Jones, Dino Vic, I guess, and so on. These are the 4 main fixers, I guess, but there are more. Like, if we were to go down, there is, Dexter Deshawn, which he was a fixer, but he dies. Then there is, we go looking for it. Trying to find one. Well, I don't know why it's only showing 4, but there's multiple fixtures and whatnot. What else did I want to go over, really? I have no idea. There's a side quest that you can't really see. It's called Tapeworm. That's the one tied to Johnny Silverhand. I don't know, I guess that's technically all I really got to say and what I need to cover. Just build things the way you want, or know what you're doing to build, stat-wise, and all that. Then from there, just take it easy, I guess. Make sure you get the gecko, or invest in the gecko if you want, because, like I said, it's, in my opinion, one of the best early game cheap cars. You can obviously get cars for free depending on where you look. There's also iconic weapons, and you can upgrade those, and blah blah blah. But yeah, and there's also the whole armor. Just invest in your underbody armor and your glasses, and let that be the one that carries you, and you should be fine. I mean, really. But there is I was gonna actually cover the more crafting stuff. There is an exploit with your crafting and stuff, so we'll actually cover that real quick. So there's a side quest that will be done, which will be tied to a character known as Bozo, or whatever. And you will get his schematic for his nose, which is a legendary item, as you will see right here. So what we'll do is we'll craft some of the grenades needed to make this item, which will be down here. It'll take 4 of these, at least for me, and we'll craft that. And sometimes I can craft these for free without having to pay the price of the crafting, which is a key factor of the whole technical ability and leveling that up. So we'll just craft a couple of these. And so aside from buying crafting components from the stores, if you have the money for it, you can also just do this. From collecting junk and scrapping it and, disassembling it, you can get stuff like components, which will allow you to make grenades and stuff. This grenade will be what you want to actually focus on, because once you have Ozob's nose, it will basically be what will carry you through the game, not damage-wise, but crafting component-wise, because you craft up a couple grenades, and then you craft up a couple of these grenades, because these will be the cheapest and have the best return. So we'll craft up a couple of these. Alright. So it takes, for me, 1 of each to make that. And then we'll also make a couple of the Ozob's nose. Actually, I'm gonna just make as much as I can, so that way I can kind of show you how much this benefits you to do this if you are going to be on the road of being a crafting person, or where you craft gear like your weapons and armor and all that, which will not be a bad choice to do, because like I said, you can get that under armor from leveling up your crafting. So obviously you gotta hold it to craft it and then let go. So you can't just hold it and let it do its own thing, which kind of sucks. But yeah, we'll just craft a couple. We'll craft as many of these as you can, or I can. I mean, I don't know what you. What the fuck? So yeah. Once we're done here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna disassemble the purple grenades I made, as well as these grenades. And by disassembling them, I will show you how much you get in return for doing so. So you just go to your backpack, and you go to the grenade section. We're going to start by disassembling these. So it only took one of each of these to make, which will then give us these materials back. We disassemble them. We disassemble all 10. And there's that. And we get a pretty alright amount of that. For the Ozap's nose, we'll get even more of these, but we'll also get these, which will allow us to make legendary items. So we'll just disassemble these. And I have 18 of this, and then 522 of this. So you take note of that, and yeah. I end up from 15 or whatever to 70, and 500 and something to like 600 something. So it ends up paying you back in a good and fast way in a sense. As for getting these back or getting more of these, there's an area where you can get the crafting spec for the armadillo mod, or you can buy the crafting spec at some vendor if you're lucky enough. But you just make this or this technically, because they're both the same price and they will probably benefit you the most. Armadillo will increase your armor, and then Backpacker, as you could only imagine, will increase your carrying capacity. But we want to do this because this will also benefit us towards getting better armor. As you saw on my armor, I had nothing but blue armadillo mods. That's because you don't get the chance of getting purple armadillo mods for higher until you are level 30 or higher. So the quality of the armadillo mod you can make is based off of your crafting or technical ability level and your perks as investment, as well as the current level of your character. So we're just going to craft up a couple of these, which will cost 4 and then 1, at least for me. Again, we'll craft up a couple of these. Oh my god. Speak properly. Thank you. Or at least understandable levels of speaking. Okay, so we've crafted up a pretty alright amount. We'll just go to the easier way of getting to these armadillo mods, which will be your armor. You'll go to armor, and then we'll click on these, and you'll see all the armadillo mods. Now, obviously, if you disassemble a blue one, it'll give you... Well, we'll actually go to the backpack so we can actually see what it'll give you. Which I believe we can find it right here. So the blue ones will give us this. The white ones will give us this. And the green ones will give us this. So just by doing that, we end up benefiting a lot just from doing that alone. So when you invest in technical ability and you're investing in crafting, which will be what allows you to do more and get the most out of your game, you will also be able to take advantage of certain things, which will then allow you to kind of just almost make it look like you're on a modded account where you can just cheat and just do whatever in a certain way. With the untitled paintings, you just actually sell them to a drop box, which if I can actually find one real quick, I can actually show you what that looks like. I'm not gonna show you like getting the whole painting and all that, but I'll basically show off what it looks like when you're selling it, because getting it can be a pain in the ass, but you can do it right off of Act 1, and you can get it as early as possible, but it's going to be a pain in the ass because you're going to be so under leveled. So this is what it looks like when you sell it. You basically just go to here, and obviously you always want it for your price going downwards. Now obviously the drop points will always have a max currency of 20,000 eddies at any given time, unless you give the Dropbox money. So what you do is you just sell it 5 paintings for 20,000, and as you can see, you can then buy it back for 4,000 eddies, just like you showed it for. But you don't want to do that. You want to back out of it, then go back and buy it back for 5 eddies a piece, which will then mean you're buying it back for 25. You can then do that, back out of it again, bring up this menu, skip time a whole 24 hours, and it's restocked the currency, which means you can do it again and continue to keep doing that until you're at a certain point where you don't need money anymore. But yeah, I believe I've covered anything and everything I feel is more important to know about the game. Other than that, the game runs just like you can see, and it's honestly just that. Have a wanted level. This pistol is a pistol which you can tap, but you can also full auto it. Then you also have this AR, which will be a smart AR, which will target up to 5 enemies. But then you also have this tech weapon. And then you also have the maintenance blades, which I've died, so I can't show off the maintenance blades. But yeah, that's everything I think I need to cover, at least the more important ones. So enjoy the game, hopefully. There's really not much I can say otherwise. I've gotten a lot of time on the game, but I don't really think there's not anything really you need to know that I haven't already said. I mean, I'd rather you just play it for yourself and learn a lot of things, but I feel like there's some things you need to learn through being told or shown in some way, like what I've done with this video. Again, it's a hot mess with this video, by the way, but still, just ignore that and just take away from what you can. Alright, and yeah, that's this video in a nutshell.